All righty, here we go with X's and O's on the KFAN Minnesota Vikings Radio Network and to Vikings.com. This is all courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery, and thank you for regular season sponsorship, per usual, to the Minnesota Lottery. Kevin O'Connell, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, joins us now, and in no way with this statement am I painting you as a victim or a martyr by any stretch, but this season, how hard has this season been on you? Because when I was crafting this, I was thinking, I know how much you care about the fans.
Yeah.
And you're not Mr. People Pleaser. I want to, that you're in it for a lot of reasons. But I just know you care about the fans. Has this been hard on you?
Yeah, it's been incredibly difficult. I still feel so fortunate and blessed to get to, be the head coach of this team. I love everything about our fans in the Twin Cities. The atmosphere that we get. No matter what this year, every single time our fans got the opportunity to show up and show out, they did. And we didn't, we have not rewarded them, with the home performances that, they were maybe accustomed to in 2022. And there's been a lot of adversity. There's things that we've had to really work through. It has been a difficult year from a standpoint of just, never feeling like you necessarily have your fastball as the season kind of went on, but there is no excuse. Injuries are a part of this game. Circumstances that sometimes are outside of your control are a part of this game. My job is to keep these guys fighting incredibly hard all the way down to the very end and continuing to try to find the best possible ways with our coaching staff and our players included in that process to play football at a high level and give ourselves a chance to win games.
So, Kevin, into this last regular season game at Detroit, Sunday noon KFAN, what are some, off the Green Bay game, what are some things you absolutely have to see tightened up? Whether you win or lose, this has to tighten.
Yeah, I think, what I really want to see is just the detail and the competes, on really all three phases, where what I mean by that is offensively, let's have a clean day of execution. Let's, our premier players, let's be at your best. Let's make sure that, we put a lot of stock in the healthy guys we do have out there that, hey, the expectation is we're going to have a tight plan. We're going to have a good plan. You guys are going to own this plan. And when you make it come to life like you guys do, on Sunday, we're going to find a way to have success with that offensively. Defensively, I want to just see that same competitive spirit that we've seen throughout the season coming from our defensive coordinator. He's been outstanding for us this year, trying to really work with, at times some tough circumstances, but still finding ways to, hold the pen last, as he likes to say. But in the end, I want those 11 guys flying around. I want guys sticky in coverage, tight as they can be. And if we give up a couple plays because we're, trying to play things tight and close and take the air out of, the offensive, formation and play, so be it. But let's go to Detroit and, really empty the tank as far as our ability to go compete and, see if we can put our best foot forward. Week 18, Game 17, and against the division champs from this year. So. We've got a heck of a challenge, but I think it's one where my hope is we see the best parts of this organization come out.
And in the near 2 years that I've known you, I mean, you've never been an excuse maker, but nevertheless, with the way things just developed, is it possible that they've fought so hard for so long that human nature occasionally gets to win too, and then maybe the emotional bubble just kind of burst in that game? Is that fair?
I think in the end, as great, these guys are great athletes. We take a lot of pride in how we operate as an organization and competing and putting forth our best efforts. But I do believe this is one of the closest tight-knit groups I've been around. And they care about each other. They want to go out there and do so well for each other. And you did get a little bit of that feeling the other night, like that momentum that we were trying to build. There was a lot of outcomes in the end, over the last couple weeks previously that didn't go our way against Cincinnati in overtime or Detroit at home. Just trying to find a way to get it done, and it just kind of felt like a little bit like we kind of ran out of some juice there. But that's what makes this week such a special opportunity, PA, because no matter what transpired, no matter what has happened this season, let's see if we can put together a great week, have a ton of energy, and do everything we need to do to go be as competitive as all get up and go fight and scratch and claw for a win at Detroit.
And the late Bud Grant once said, distractions are the ultimate equalizer, no matter how good you are.
Yep.
And I mean, it doesn't mean it's creed, but nevertheless, I've never forgot it. And through your run as a player or a coach, it's just been, when I say the emotional bubble may have burst, it's just been something big every single week. And I know you personally take a lot of the onus of that, and that's what a good leader does. But that, have you ever seen anything like that every single week? Not just like something, but something big.
Well, first and foremost, if Coach Grant said it, it's pretty darn close to creed for in my book, and he shared a lot of things over the past year before his passing that I've really gone back on this year, understanding. How to handle some of these moments. And I feel very fortunate and blessed to have gotten that time with him. And maybe it was all part of a plan to make sure I was prepared for what inevitably has been a difficult year. But my hope is, PA, that just like any adversity in life, no matter how many times it came about this year, we just continued at our core to get a little bit stronger, and we'll be better off for it down the line. And that will, be truly the answer to the test of what this year has really all been about. We'd love to have the answers come right now in the moment, but in the long term, if we answer the questions that has kind of come about this year the right way, I think Vikings fans and everyone out there can be excited about what's to come.
So with the Detroit game, I mean, you win or lose at Ford Field, you absolutely expect them to play with their hair on fire. I mean, off the last game, but professionally speaking, whether it's the end of the season or not, hair on fire for this one, right?
Yeah, absolutely. These guys are competitors, and as banged up as we've been at times, as banged up as we are right now, every guy that we put out there on the field is going to go out there and try to do everything they can to get our 8th win, and really there's nothing else about it besides having blinders on and trying to go do that.
Does the teaching part ever stop? I mean, of course it never stops. Like, if you're going 0 to 10, it may be just down at a 1 at certain parts of the year. But what I'm talking about, like that Super Bowl run you had with the Rams, or so if you can hearken to your Patriots days when you played, was there ever a time that you guys just plugged in the machine and it kind of ran itself?
I think it can get to that point as long as you've used the moments that came before that the right way. And when I say moments, I mean the success and the adversity of having to deal with things, look it in the eye, stand up, preferably with me out in front is how these guys always know I'm going to be. I know, we put a lot of expectations and feelings and confidence into this year, and it didn't go exactly how we planned. But what are we going to do with it? What are we going to use that for as we press onward here in this organization? Ultimately, that's my plan. That's my hope. And I do think at certain points, regardless of if it's the previous year's team, if it's the current team, or the team we'll put together in the future, we'll have some real substance to build off of. And what I mean by that is we'll have some stuff on our neck to really say, we've been through this, we've been through that. Let's just go play ball, and it'll be another opportunity moving forward for everybody to be excited about.
Did you, or what did you enjoy about working with Jared Goff when you were there?
I thought Jared was, tremendous professional. Worked every single week. He went through his process every single week. Really enjoyed the personality of the player. I thought he was very, very, connected to his teammates, and had a way about him that, allowed him to be the same guy every day, but in a good way. And through tough times or, successful times, which he had a lot in LA, he's had plenty already in Detroit. Jared Goff's going to be the same guy every day, and there's some real value in the consistency of one of your leaders, your pillars of your organization at the quarterback position. And he's a pretty darn talented quarterback as well. So that always helps us, when you're coaching that guy.
Dan Campbell, their coach, is he just a gambler by nature? I mean, like all situations during games, do you have to think, okay, this could be something different, because he's not afraid to really do anything at any time.
Yeah, I think, you have to have a lot of respect for the fact that, whether it's a 2-point play from the 2, the 7, shoot, they maybe can get backed up to the 15, 20-yard line, and they're still going to go for it in those moments because they have belief and they've earned the right to feel like that. He's earned the right by what they've done with their team and the experiences they've had to feel confident in those moments, fourth downs, kicking game plays where they're going to roll the dice. I think, I don't want to speak for Dan, but I think, he's not in any sort of fear of the outcome of those things because I think his process to doing those revolve around the confidence in his team and ultimately their execution in those moments to be at their best.
And the identity that they have, just kind of flies in the face of what most teams do in the National Football League, where he's like, I got these backs, I got this really nice offensive line, I'm going to run the ball.
Yep.
We're going to run this kid wide, we're going to run this kid between the tackles, and they stick to it, don't they?
Yeah, and then, what they maybe do better than anybody in the league right now is, marrying it all together and using the screens and the play pass, the movement game to really, make that effective run game even that much more effective because it not only has effect on the plays they're moving people off the line of scrimmage and running the rock with those 2 backs, but the plays that start out looking the same but end up being different. Yep. And then they do activate Reynolds and Amon-Ra and all the Jamison Williams and Laporta. And I mean, they've assembled a very talented group of players, and I think they've done a really nice job coaching them up. Ben Johnson deserves a ton of credit for that.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah,
Happy New Year, okay?
Yep, thank you.
Kevin O'Connell, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, and I'm Paul Allen. X's and O's continues around the corner, courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery on the KFAN Minnesota Vikings Radio Network.